Today on Fashion Guide, the unofficial fashion ambassador of Georgia, Magda Tvalyashvili, and collections with the flavor of the Caucasus, Munira Alimuhamedova, an Uzbek designer making clothes for Kazakh men, and Oriental beauty Elmira Ibrahimova, talking about films, Tashkent, and Almaty. Also, the 80th anniversary of the legendary Lancôme fashion house, a celebration with the divas of Hollywood. Fashion traditions in the Central Asian countries and the Caucasus are rich and multifaceted. They trace their roots back to traditional costumes, folk crafts, and use of lots of colorful and ancient ornaments. Fashion designers from Georgia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan are warmly welcome in Kazakhstan, and many of them already consider Kazakhstan their home. She calls herself a fashion ambassador of Georgia in Kazakhstan. Meet the stylist, art director, and co-creator of the women's wear fashion boutique, the Atelier Artisan brand, Magda Tvalyashvili. Magda Tvalyashvili mates us in her office with the legendary hospitality of the Caucasus. She has long been on the inside of the Kazakh fashion industry, but still retains the fine and inimitable Georgian fashion taste. While modest when talking about herself, she is very proud of her roots. Georgian fashion has always been different from what you could find in all other republics of the former USSR. We adore black. We love long black dresses. Magda has lived and worked in Kazakhstan for 8 years now. She started as a consultant in a luxury clothing boutique, and then, together with the fashion designer Aynur Turizbek, she began working on her brand. A year ago, she co-designed the brand Atelier Artisan. This is the label under which Magda makes women's wear collections, under the artistic stewardship of Alexei Djen, the art director of the brand. The menswear collections are still made by Sayat Dazibayev. Magda feels that she truly belongs here in the center of Kazakhstan's fashion events.
Я как будто себя чувствую дома. Может быть, изначально окружали.
It feels like home. From the very start, I was surrounded by people who loved me, and I loved them back. This is the ambiance I feel most comfortable in. I like it.
Вот это такая атмосфера, что я сама чувствую очень комфортно. Мне нравится.
This year, Magda launched her own brand under her name. Long dresses, jackets made of leather and fur, the favorite materials of Georgian fashion designers. Also, Magda promotes her Georgian colleagues in Kazakhstan. She introduces Kazakh fashion lovers to collections of Toraj Gernaya, the jeweler. These amazing silver pieces were made with his signature technology, with the use of enamel. Magda knows that Georgian fashion flair is immediately recognizable and that Kazakhs love it very much. More and more tourists from Kazakhstan have visited Georgia in recent years. They often visit our fashion designers, get familiar with our culture. I think it has something to do with the fact that Kazakhstan is in love with Georgian fashion.
Это повлияло на то, что Казахстан полюбил грузинскую моду.
Keti Chikvadze, Leila Eloshvili, Salle de Mode, Gizi. This is the incomplete list of Georgian fashion designers who regularly come to Kazakhstan to show their collections during the fashion weeks. The fashion world is a real international friendship vehicle. It so happens that Kazakh designers are not very much into menswear. Munira Alimuhamedova is one of the few who does, and it all started in Uzbekistan. Munira is one of those whose motto is Veni Vidi Vici, and she fell in love with Kazakhstan with all her heart. Real clothing without unnecessary details. This is what the Uzbek fashion designer Munira Alimuhamedova makes. During last summer's Almaty pop-up store, she had her debut show of the brand Rotakanum. Obviously, the Kazakh fashion crowd took fancy in the minimalism, relaxed fit, and sophisticated simplicity of her collection. Her label has occupied the vital menswear niche. The designer says that her career breakthrough happened in 2012 when she moved from her native Tashkent to Almaty. I wanted to change my life. I realized that Tashkent is not enough for me in terms of fashion design, so I decided to change my country of residence. Munira inherited her passion for handcraft and sewing from her mother. She graduated from university with a degree in architecture. Since 2008, she has no longer practiced as an architect, but as a fashion designer. She took part in the Tashkent Fashion Week with her first women's wear collection. She was awarded first prize as a beginner fashion designer. She took part in the contest for fashion designers from Russia and CIS countries. In 2011, Muniram Alimuhamedova made her first menswear collection inspired by Hedi Sliman, the menswear fashion revolutionary. The most important thing for me is a sort of naturalness and style in clothes. It's not a style based on unnecessary details. It's a very simple style of my own. Self-sufficient, manly, and fulfilled men are the customers of the Rotakanum brand. This summer collection is comprised of undershirts, shirts, pants, and backpacks. The brand uses a monochromatic palette, white, gray, and black colors. Everything is handcrafted. Also, I have undershirts for this capsule collection. This one must be stored like this. It's the main appeal and idea that pieces of clothing should be beautiful in any state. Moving to another country, starting a menswear collection, it looks like Munira loves challenges and does everything to grow and reinvent herself. This translates into the message of the Rotakanum brand: ideal cuts, natural fabrics, and simplicity. An oriental beauty from a fairy tale movie. That's what comes to your mind when you see this girl from Uzbekistan who came to make it in Kazakhstan. Elmira Ibrahimova is not just a women's wear designer, she is a costume designer. Many young girls start dreaming about a career in the fashion industry, playing with dolls and watching their mothers work at their sewing machines. Elmira's path to the fashion world wasn't very common. My father is a director of photography. He used to bring me to film sets, and I watched the actors, what they wore and what they did. I took special interest in epic historical films, as they had the most beautiful costumes on the set. In her native Tashkent, Elmira went to theater school. She wasn't keen on becoming an actress. Rather, it was the wardrobe department that attracted her, so she chose to study at the modern fashion design department. An important career milestone for Elmira was her work on the set of Yul Bulsin, a film by the director Tamara Kamalova, which got a state award in Uzbekistan. All the character looks of the film were created by Elmira. Still, the movie business did not appeal to her that much. Elmira became a fashion designer and her collections were taken to the Uzbekistan Fashion Weeks, while Uzbek showbiz stars started to wear her clothes. In Tashkent, I mostly worked with such stars as Yulduz Usmanova, Zulaykho Baykhanova, and Shahzoda. They are the most popular Uzbek performers. I just came from Tashkent, where I made 5 looks for Shahzoda's anniversary concert. In Kazakhstan, Elmira met her future husband. So 2 years ago, she moved to Almaty. Now the designer is inspired by fashion styles from both countries.
В Казахстане есть свои плюсы, есть свои минусы.
The Kazakh fashion industry has its strong and weak points. Personally, I'd love to see more ethnic styles, but on the other hand, you use a lot of modern elements. In Uzbekistan, they also use them, but they still work with traditional fabrics. I'd love to see more of the young designers go for their own thing, made of modern fabrics, not just of ikat.
Хотелось бы видеть молодых, которые все-таки больше пытаются что-то свое делать, более что-то современное, не только из иката, а вот каких-то современных тканей.
A year ago, Elmira organized an unusual fashion performance in Almaty. The Kazakh Fashionable Society immediately fell in love with the feminine and romantic style of her elegant evening gowns. So now Elmira is to carry on the conquest of the Kazakh fashion arena at the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week this fall. Now on to global fashion news. The famous beauty products company Lancôme celebrated its 80th anniversary on a large scale. The Casino de Paris had an unbelievable number of beautiful ladies per square meter. 6 Lancôme beauty ambassadors, Julia Roberts, Lupita Nyong'o, Penelope Cruz, Kate Winslet, and Isabella Rossellini, who are or were the faces of the company, gathered to celebrate the occasion. Oscar winner Julia Roberts became the Lancôme ambassador in 2010.
But the first thing I remember of any sort of campaign ever as a young woman looking to idolize a goddess was Isabella doing Lancôme. I mean, I can see the campaign in my mind so perfectly, and I just thought,
Rossellini, the Italian actress and model, became the brand's face in 1982. Now she is 63. She says that signing a contract with Lancôme was like winning the lottery. To the journalist's question, "And what do you wish Lancôme for their 80th birthday?" the fashion ambassadors replied, "An extension of our contracts."